Hi everybody, I'm going to show you a really easy, quick, fun technique today to cut up samples from lots of different loops and use those cuts to create your own loop. The problem with using just a straight loop out of a sample collection is anyone can use that loop, and also it's not quite creative enough. You want to have a technique to create your own loop which says maybe a little bit more about you stylistically as an artist. So Ableton gives you a really fun way to do this, really quick and intuitive, using clip envelopes. So the first thing to do, it's good to have a kick drum or something in there just to tell you where the downbeat is while you're creating these rhythms. So whether it be a 4/4 kick or a breakbeat or whatever it is, you might want something in there. And then just go and grab a load of loops. I've grabbed 6 or 7 here. And basically what you're looking for, at least in this example, is just sounds. Maybe there's one sound in the loop that you like, but the rest of the loop, you're not bothered about. If it's just hats and snares, you can create your own. So you're looking for interesting percussion sounds or vocal sounds, whatever it is, something in that loop that maybe speaks to you, and then just drag them in so each one's on their own channel. The next thing to do is to group all of these channels. So we're going to shift click across there and choose group tracks, and then I'm just going to turn all of these down by selecting all of them together, just pulling the volume down a little bit, just because most loops come already limited or compressed. And then we're just going to listen to the first one. I just drag these in quite randomly. You might want to spend a little bit more time finding loops with sounds that you really like. Okay, so you want to have a quick listen to what it is you're going to be editing, and then the important thing is to make sure the envelope button down here is lit up, so we're in envelope mode, and then we're going to select clip volume. That's important because clip volume automates this particular volume down here, which is the clip volume. If you choose mixer volume, which is the default, that will automate this volume here on the actual mixer, which we don't want to do. We want that to be free for us to set the level, the volume in the mix. So we're going to choose clip volume, and then in draw mode, we can just draw all of these out to start with, and then just draw maybe 1 or 2 back in. There we go. Now we're going to move on to the next one. We can do this quite fast. You can always come back and change these. So essentially what we want now is to do the same thing. Click on the sample, envelope is on, we want make sure clip volume is selected here, draw them out again. Now we're looking to create a rhythm against our first sample, so we want to hopefully bring another sample back in from this loop in a gap. Now we can make these loops any length we want. I'm just going to make this one 1 bar. There we go. Those two are talking to each other now. So let's try the next loop. Have a quick listen first. That's cool. So again, envelope, clip volume. I'm going to draw them out. I like this one here. Maybe draw that one in as well. Maybe one of these. Yeah, I like that. Let's move on. Okay, this one's a little bit loud. So again, clip, volume. And again, that loop there is just repeating over 1 bar, so I might as well make that 1 bar. Yeah, I like those little stabs. There we go. Nice little rhythm. Next. Clip, volume. Draw mode. Let's have a listen first. So I quite like this little hit. Now the other thing you might want to do as you're doing this is just move the start indicator along to see if the particular hit that you've chosen fits in a little bit better with the rhythm that you're creating. There we go, I like that. Move on to the next one, clip volume. Have a listen first. So let's maybe just choose this one. Just got a little vocal in here at the end. Let's see if we can make anything usable with this. Again, clip volume, envelope on, I'll draw it out. There we go. So essentially that's the technique. Now, like I said, you might want to spend a little bit more time finding sounds that really speak to you on this. I've just done this very, very quickly. And also just spend a bit of time moving these start indicators along, so you find the right place for each one of these hits. Now that's really just the very first step in making your own loop. You might want to now do some group processing. So the first thing I'd probably do is just whack a compressor on there, because we want to make this sound like a loop now. So these are all from different sound sources, and we want to maybe compress them all together and then maybe add some saturation or something just to make them sound like they're from the same family. There we go, that's just pulling them all together a little bit. And then you could try a little bit of overdrive, you could try some saturation. You could try something like the Redux plugin, Lo-Fi plugin, or Erosion. Now they sound really like they're from the same sound source, the same family now. Again, this is just kind of the very first part of the process that I might use. You might be quite happy with the result you come up with here, move on with the rest of your track. What I'd like to do before doing that, just to see if there's anything else we can get out of this, is to use some other kind of plugins or processes on this group channel that might reorder these rhythms some more, some sort of glitch, beat, repeat type plugins, and I'd resample that into a separate audio channel. Really the idea is to collect a whole selection of tones and rhythms that perhaps you weren't even thinking of creating, and that's usually where I find the most interesting stuff is. So if you wanted to learn any more about that, just follow us, visit the website, or get in touch with us for a session down at our studio. Thanks for watching.